Hello and welcome back to the Spellcorp Industrial Complex, where I am standing in our brand new elevator that we worked on last episode, just outside of our lobby, and it's beautiful. I love it. Look at this. Gorgeous little spot. Very nice. Now, I said I was going to connect up the elevator to all the other floors and things in between episodes. I didn't get a chance to do that. And I didn't get a chance to do that because I have been absolutely addicted to All the Mods 9 to the Sky. I've been playing it over on Twitch. Go check that out. Check out the VODs or catch me live on Mondays and Fridays. But it unfortunately has been meaning I haven't been spending as much time over here. But what it does mean is I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot about most of the mods that we've worked with here already. I've learned some new things. For AE2, I've learned some new ways to auto-craft. So we're going to look at some of that today. For Mechanism, I've learned... Honestly, I haven't learned too much about Mechanism, but I just love Mechanism. So I've been playing with it more over there as well. And I think today we're going to try to get a digital miner made and play around with that. I've also learned a bit about the Power mod and a lot of its wonderful abilities. And oh my god, this mod is crazy. You can get some really easy power setups that make you a ton of power. So maybe we're going to look at swapping our reactor over to one of those. I'm not sure yet about that. But yeah, lots that I want to do today. What is this? Did I not fill these in ever? Whoops. Okay, we'll fill those in. Lots that I'd like to do today, so let's just kind of get started. And I think we're going to start with the digital miner because it's probably the most inbounds for us at the moment. And why a digital miner? What do I want to do with that? Well, honestly, we need resources. I don't have a good way of generating input for our metals and our ores and things, and I think this is going to be a great way to do it. And I have a lot of the stuff made up already. So it's hopefully pretty quick. I made a bunch of these atomic alloys. These are just refined obsidian dust, reinforced alloys, and reinforced alloys are just infused alloys with enriched diamonds. And you just have to grind through and make a bunch of those. So we have those all made. A couple logistical sorters, and we just need a little raw bit, which is all refined obsidian ingots. These are also pretty simple to make. You just take refined obsidian dust, which was obsidian dust infused with diamonds, and you combine it with some osmium. So we got our rabbit, and boom. Easy peasy digital miner. Let's try this out. I think we want it. I mean, we can put it in here for now. There's not really any harm, but 20 kilo FE per tick. We need power to it. Throw a little power cable on it. This thing, I think, from when I've played with it previously, takes a lot of power, but we can see what happens. Silk touch. Generally, I want silk touch on so that we can process the ores like crazy. And filters. What happens if we don't filter anything? It doesn't recognize that there's anything to mine. Okay. So we're going to go config. Radius. You know what? Maybe this is better suited for the mining dimension. Let's go there. I don't know where I put my teleport pad for the mining dimension. It was on the main floor for a while, but I moved it. And I no longer know where it is. Is it still hidden down here? No. It appears to be completely gone. So, I guess we'll make another one. I can afford to. I do have enough all the modium. And we'll put it here for the minute. All the miner digital thingy to put that down. It's got power. It's silk touch. Start. Nothing. What we have to do is we have to add a filter. Also, what is our Y level? 253. So we're actually going to change the Y level to be 256. Minimum 0. New filter. Tag. I think we want to look at different ores and see what their common tags are, right? Block tags, forge, probably ores? Forge : ores, I think is going to be the big one. So let's go tag and say forge ores, and we can set a filter, and that's just going to cycle through all the different ore. If we hit start, okay, there's 44,000 that it's going to mine. That is a lot. How much is this taking? This is taking 15,000 kilo FE per tick. That is expensive. We are definitely going to have to upgrade our power because that's crazy. It's just going to go through this and it's going to mine ore. And that's easy peasy. And then we could send that ore back. Does this have ender chests? This has ender chests. I think we'll make a couple ender chests, and we'll just have this send home to our ME system or to our ore processing system, and just have it start smushing up ores and then putting them straight into the machine, because this is going to get us a lot of ores. We'll make sure it's in the bounds of one single chunk, and then we can just load that chunk. There, perfect. Chunk stays loaded. We're already out of power. That's good. Okay, well, we're going to take this away for now because we need more power before we can really mess around with this and get it going in a crazy way. And I guess power-wise, I kind of want to swap over to Powa and use Powa. But if we look at the Powa recipes, so in all the mods to the sky, I was using these thermo generators, and these are really good. They're pretty cheap in terms of raw materials, but they make a crazy amount of power as long as you put them on a different heat source, and they're so good. Is this the only heat source available in the mod? It must be. Interesting. But we can put them on top of one of these blazing crystals and they'll make a bunch of power. If we get them up to the emerald tier, they're like 4,200 RF per tick for each of them. So if we think about that, we'd only need like 4 or 5 to run the digital miner, and then a few extra to run everything else we have. Oh, we are totally out of power. Oh no. I might have, we might have to check which chunk we have unclaimed, because I might have unclaimed the power chunk where our power is being generated. So we should make sure that's not the case. But power is going to be a pretty cheap way to make a lot of good power, as opposed to big reactors. Big reactors is very cool and I love it, but I think you can just get more power using power. So we'll probably have to try that out. I think I did unload. I unloaded this chunk, and that definitely broke our power system. Okay, we got some power back online. Good, good, good. My only problem with power is these recipes are a pain to make. Look at this, okay? For our basic thermo generator, we need a thermo plate, and that's redstone dust and blaze powder. But then we also need this basic capacitor, tiny, which is made from a basic capacitor, which is made from iron, redstone, and dielectric paste. Then dielectric paste is coal, clay, and blaze powder, and everything is just a recipe with a bunch of layers. So I think we're going to look at some auto crafting from Applied Energistics and get into that, because some wonderful fellas were teaching me on stream the other day how to get some of that working. And so we can make some pretty easy stuff with that. First thing I'm going to want is I'm going to want a couple molecular assemblers. I think we're going to start off with 8, if I can make that many even. Make 8 of those. And we're going to need our pattern providers. I think I have a couple made already from previous attempts. 8 of those will do as well. Now I'm going to want, well, I'm going to want a crafting unit. I'm going to want a crafting storage, but I think we want a bigger one. If I can make it. What do I have? What do I have? I have a 16K. We're going to use that. We're going to make 2 of those. And then I'm going to need another crafting unit. I think I'll actually need 2, because we also need a crafting processor. A crafting co-processing unit. We need one of those. And this will be our storage for recipes, kind of like we played around with previously. I think we're going to clean up this area and tap into all of its systems, because we have some patterns over here already, and it'll be kind of just a nice spot for it. So let's set up our first little auto crafter. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to make a little tower, a 2x2x4 tower of pattern providers and molecular assemblers. And I think the reason we're doing it like this, now don't get me wrong, I don't know exactly why, because I'm not the genius who designed something like this, but I can explain. The whole idea behind making it 2x2x4 like this and having 8 pattern providers and 8 molecular assemblers is one regular cable, one of these Fluix ones that carries 8 channels, and each pattern provider takes a channel, but the molecular assemblers don't. So this whole thing here is actually only 8 channels at the moment. So it's a great setup to run off of one cable, so it's very compact, very efficient, and it's going to hold a lot of recipes. Each of the pattern providers holds 9, so we have like 72 recipes just within this tower. And in all the mods Sky, you can upgrade these even better. They might have them here. A mega pattern provider from Mega Cells. I think these, we can even try to make one and see what they look like. There are versions of these that hold way, way more patterns, and this sounds like it's going to be one of those. Okay, it holds twice. It holds twice the amount of patterns, so that's still pretty good. You could upgrade these and have even more patterns within the tower, so that's great. But with this, we're also going to need a little crafting setup, right? We're going to need something to store the crafting recipes as they're crafting. So we're going to place down one of these little squares, okay? So this is two 16K crafting storages, a co-processing unit, and then just a regular crafting unit, because it has to be a cuboid shape for it to go. And you'll know when it makes kind of the perfect multi-block structure shape, right? When it connects like this. If we remove these ones, that works as well. But we can hook that up. And I believe the co-processing unit's purpose is to speed it up a little bit. I think it helps make it faster, and then those just store it. But now we have to hook these up, so we'll just run some lines into them from underneath, and that should be about it. And then we can get it hooked right into our ME system and see what kind of patterns we can make. I'm gonna want to steal from you. Run our dense cable in, and then these should turn on. Device online. It's using 9 channels along there. We should see that one's using 5 plus 9 because that's what we added. And now I just need my covers again. Make sure all our cables are covered underneath. Perfect. Completely hidden. Now that we have this pattern system hooked up, we can actually check our pattern access terminal to view all the molecular assemblers that are set up. And we see here we have that 9x8 grid of 72 recipes to make everything. And then we can throw our recipes. And then we have our pattern encoding terminal to make recipes. But let's go through here. Was there anything critical that we want at the moment to start? I can't really use any of these because these are all processing recipes. They all required some sort of other machinery. So we can set some of those back up after. But at the moment, with these work, the molecular assemblers work as if you were auto-crafting a recipe that fits into your crafting table. So if we go by our Power example, let's take a look at, say, our thermo generator basic. We could add a recipe for making these thermo plates, a recipe for making these capacitors, yada, yada, yada. And that's exactly what I'm going to go ahead and do. But I have to make a bunch of blank patterns. But also another perfect example, let's make some recipes for a blank pattern. So to make our blank pattern, we obviously need the blank pattern, but we'll need quartz glass, which means we need a recipe for that as well. And if we want, we can put these straight into a molecular assembler here. And we'll see exactly what they are. Now, when we go into our ME system, maybe I want to make blank patterns. They show up to craft. What if I want to make 20? Tells me I have all the resources. We're going to hit start. It's going to go. And it goes really fast. It's quite fast. We can speed them up even by adding speed upgrades, but that was very quick already for us. We'll add our blank patterns here, and we'll go and make some of those other things. So I think we're going to just try these thermo generators because I like them. I really like them. But we'll need to make all the individual ingredients. So dielectric paste being one of the things we need a recipe for. We'll make that. Thermo plates we'll need a recipe for. But we can see that that has its own dependency of basic capacitors, which has its own dependency of the bigger capacitors. So we can do that now. And now we have a way to craft everything in this except for this dielectric casing, which is made of dielectric rods, vertical, horizontal, and iron. So we'll craft the recipe for this. And then these can be used to make the horizontal ones. So we'll add that. But I think we're also going to add the various alternate recipes in case it has to go between them. We'll craft that. And we'll need a recipe for iron rods. And that might be enough. We can give it a try and see if we're missing anything. But we can put everything in here. And I was told on stream, if you run them vertically, then you know that they're running between separate molecular assemblers. And that can help to speed up certain processes because it means they can be running at the same time. So let's just try now then. We'll need the actual recipe for the starter, one of these. And actually, hovering over here, highlight elements are already craftable. It kind of tells us that it can make everything in the machine, I think. I think that's what that means anyways. So let's add that in. And let's see if we can make 10 of these. We're missing blaze powder, but we do have everything else. So if I get some blaze powder and throw it in here, do I have blaze rods? We have a bunch of blaze rods. Well, what if I told you we can just add a blaze powder recipe? And then now we can try it. Thermo generator. Let's make 10 of these. And it's going to start going. You can see it crafting the things in here as it processes them up. We can watch the crafting run through the rest of these. There's still 9 scheduled, 8 scheduled. It's burning through them. But we have auto crafting. That's amazing. It's just going to work great like that. And, well, we have 10 of them now. Very, very cool. But we want to upgrade these. Well, the upgrades to these require stuff we already know how to make. So pretty easily enough, we can just add that recipe in. And if we want to upgrade to the next tier, well, it's going to need some other stuff. So we won't add that one just yet, but we can now say, what if we want to make 10 of these? Does it have everything? It certainly does. And we're going to hit start. And it'll go, and it'll make 10 of the upgraded ones. To make the next tier, we're going to need these hardened capacitors. And these are a little bit different because we need energized steel, which requires an energizing setup to turn iron and gold into energized steel. So we need an energizing orb and an energizing rod. We can go ahead, we can make some of that stuff up. If I want to make a, what was it called? Energizing orb? That's the thing. Control click to craft unavailable items. Boom. Look at that. No crafting CPUs are available. Start. Some ingredients cannot be extracted. Retry. I broke it. I don't know what's happening. Start. I don't know what I just did. Oh, that just worked. Okay, cool. So wait, I can just ask it to craft these unavailable things and have it go, and then it'll make them. And then we have our energizing rod. That is amazing, actually. That's really, really easy. So this little energizing setup, we're going to need an orb, and we're going to need to shoot these little rods at it to power the stuff. So let's grab some iron and gold. And if I'm not mistaken, we can use a block of each as well to get it going. But you can see at the bottom, it's going to be charging this up. And then once that hits 100%, we'll get our cool energized block. So we'll want to add some recipes for the hardened capacitors as well to our system, because those are going to be made at some point. But we do also want a way to make energized steel. This is a little more complicated because I think we'd need a processing setup. And I mean, maybe we can mess around with it, but for the moment, I'll pass. For the moment, I just want to play strictly with the regular molecular assemblers because I don't feel like making a nice, clean setup. But I'm going to get going on these. I'm going to make a bunch of this hardened steel, energized steel, and then we can get some cool power going. For our thermo generators to make a good heat source, we're also going to need this blaze mesh from Botania, and then we're going to energize this as well to make a blazing crystal block, because this is going to be the heat source for underneath our thermo generators that's going to let it make a bunch of power. For what it's worth, I might have actually just got a pretty simple setup going. Basically, this import bus is only pulling when this is completed. And what we're doing is I have a pattern provider hooked up with that pattern saying 1 gold and 1 iron makes 2 energized steel into this chest. So it fills it with the necessary ingredients, the iron, the gold. And then we're using these item transporters from Industrial Foregoing because these are very, very neat. They transfer things only 1 block, but on the input side of this one, I can say 1 gold and 1 iron ingot at all times and turn on this regulate mode. And then that means it'll only ever put 1 gold and 1 iron in this inventory. It'll never put more, because if you put more, it actually breaks this recipe. But as of right now, this seems to be working really, really well. And then when it completes, the inventory just pulls it back in. So if we wanted, let's actually pull out this last piece of gold so it's even again. But we'll wait and let it finish. We can actually call this recipe, I believe, and it should just work, right? We have 16 energized steel in here. Let's say we want to make 10 more. It knows it needs 5. I'm going to hit start, and it should just throw everything into the chest and then get going. That's awesome. with our energized steel being made, we should just be able to make the next tier of this stuff. The thermogenerator starter? No. Thermogenerator hardened. I think everything is already craftable, right? Everything except for hardened capacitors, because I didn't put those in the system yet, but I do have the recipe for those made. So we can throw all that in. And now, can I make 10 hardened thermogenerators? We're missing large capacitors. Do I not have a recipe for large capacitors? We don't. Okay. Which is just 2 small basic capacitors. Cool. So we'll add that in. And boom, 10. Get that going too. So I'm going to grind away. I'm going to upgrade these kind of as far as I can go. And then I'll show you a neat little power setup with them. So I have the crafting recipes in here up to the spirited ones, which is like the 2nd or 3rd highest tier, I think. And to make 10 more of these, I'm going to need more diamonds and I'm going to need more blaze rods, unfortunately. But I have everything else. The blaze rods I have coming into these, the simulation chamber here. So I'm slowly getting these. But the diamonds, I don't want to go mining for that many diamonds. So we're going to do something a little more fun. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to take whatever tier of thermogen I actually have. Can I make the next tier? We can make the next tier. We're going to make the next tier. And then we're actually just going to power a digital miner and mine the diamond ore for us so that we can easily get to the next tier. This is going to take a second because it's got to cook up all of this energized stuff, I think. Oh, it's running through it. No, it's done. It's already done. Okay, look at that. 10 thermogenerators blazing. Let's grab all of these. And we're going to go set these up to make some power. Got to check on my blaze rods too, though. Make sure I'm still making these. I'm actually just waiting for a few of these blazing crystals to make because we'll need these. But I'll show you what I did while I was waiting around on stuff. I got this set up here. Very, very simple setup, but it's just the inscribers. And these let us make all the different processors. So it's got all the little individual portions. So that's automated now and very easy. And then over here, I set up some pattern providers on top of these basic machines. So we have some smelting, some enriching, some crushing, and some infusing. Can easily set up recipes for those now and have that automated as well. And it looks like we might be done with these. Perfect. Let's go. I think we're going to go to the main floor, actually. And in one of these side wings, we're going to set up our power because I like this being maybe a little like boiler room of sorts. So these machines, super powerful, super easy to set up. We're going to need a water source. Very easy like that. And then we just need to pump water in to them and put them on top of these. So let's say I want 10 of these. How do I want to do it? Maybe we'll have a nice little line. And I'm going to need mechanical pipes. We're going to have 5 out that way and 5 out that way. I don't know if that was enough, but we're going to break the blocks underneath. And we're going to place our blazing crystal down because we need this as the heat source. And we put our thermogens on top of it. And they're not going to do anything yet. Generates 200 FE per tick. But once we start pumping in water, if I can configure this correctly, these should start making power. 560 FE per tick. So see how it says 200 FE? But they're actually making 560. That's because this little system down below is giving them a bit of a boost. Throwing the blazing crystals underneath gives them a boost to it. So we're going to make a ton of power right now. 560 FE times 10, we're making 5,600 right here. So what we can actually just do is we can tap this into our power line. And I need a flux plug, right? And we'll connect that to our network. And now we're adding power to our flux network. Awesome. Now maybe we have enough float power being made to mine some of those diamonds if we go to the mining dimension. So let's give that a try. Okay, let's come to our little machine here. And we're going to stop it. We're going to reset it. We're going to change the config. And we're actually just going to set to Minecraft. I think it's diamond ore. Is that the correct name? No. Okay, well, we can actually just add it in. Diamond ore. And we're going to add you. How do I do this? Like that? Save? That doesn't work? I thought I could just drag and drop and that it would work. No? Okay, well, we can add whatever tag it is then. If we add Minecraft diamond ores, there we go. That'll filter all of the diamond ores. And then, if we start mining, there's 997 of them. Cool, and we have Silk Touch turned on, so we're going to have it start mining some of that stuff. And then once we have enough diamonds, we can actually make the stuff, the higher tier power. That's probably enough diamonds for now. And if I can find some high level of fortune, we're going to get so many from this. I have fortune 3. I don't know what it takes to get higher levels of fortune, hey? Fortune, you can get up to fortune 9, but you need ancient tomes. How do you even get an ancient tome? Do they just spawn in places? I don't know. According to online, they are only found in dungeons. Okay, well, that's too bad, but I don't really want to hunt for those. We'll just use fortune 3. Okay. Let's see how many diamonds we're going to get from all of this then. Fortune 3 on a bunch of that. We got 3 stacks in a little bit. Very nice. Very nice. That is going to be enough then to upgrade our machines. We're going to steal them back because I actually need them to craft. And now, if we go to our thermo, let's say spirit, and we try to make 10, we're missing blaze rods. I'm still missing blaze rods. Okay, well, I should have enough ready to go here. Okay, well, I just have to wait a second. Now, if we try again to make 10 spirited, we have everything. This might take some time, though, because I think it's going to have to infuse a... Oh, no. Yeah, this is a problem. I thought this might happen, where it's going to break the energizing machines. We almost need multiple energizing machines, depending on what we're crafting. Okay, well... I'm just going to let it do its thing manually. I'll pull the old stuff out, and we'll let it go. We'll let it do the diamonds and then the emeralds in sequence, and then I'll come back once it's all fixed. It's done. I have 10 spirited thermogens in my inventory right now. Let's see how much power these make. In all the mods 9 to the sky, they make like 4K a piece. Looks like they make... a little bit less here, 2240. But that's still 22,000 FE per tick for these alone, which is great. That's more than our nuclear reactor's making, our big reactor. So I'm thinking in between episodes, maybe I'll farm up a few of these. We can maybe have a wall of them to try to make a ton of power, because I'd love to get our digital miner up to max speed. That would be crazy. But I'm thinking we're going to have to start wrapping things up here today. We got a lot of awesome stuff done, a ton of crazy automation that's going to help us going forward. But what I would like to do is I'd like to see if we can't get our digital miner automatically processing some of our ores. And I think the way we're going to do that is we're going to use an ender chest to bring stuff to our processing setup. And then certain ores like diamond ore and whatnot, we're not going to want to run through this setup. We're going to want to run through a different setup. We'll deal with that later, but we'll actually start by pulling out a ton of ores, bringing them here, and then we can filter things and send some to the processing, others into our whatever this is called, our ME system. So let's go. Let's make a couple of ender chests first. We should only need 2 to do this, and I think we probably have almost everything. I need leather. I'm missing leather. Really? Okay, well, let me go get leather. Here comes the leather. Actually, we're going to turn the grinder off because we're going to kill them by hand because I have looting 3. Sorry, cows. It's over for you. Oh, we got a cow spawn egg. Very cool. So I can make one of those awesome overpowered spawners. An everlasting beef. Not consumed when eaten. What is this? Can I cook it? Eternal steak. Oh my goodness. Did we just get an overpowered food source? It's got a delay, but that's fine. Let's cook it and make everlasting steak. Oh my goodness. We got the ultimate food source. So we can leave that in here and we'll never run out of food now. Oh, that's so cool. So we just have to set a channel on our ender chest, and we'll do all gray because I feel like that represents ore. Now, if we go to our digital miner, all we have to do is put the ender chest on the back, I think, is where this connects. And we say auto eject on. And it'll start filling up this ender chest. And if we add ender pearls, we can actually make this ender chest a bigger one. So it's a 27 slot chest. Everything's going to automatically go into here now. And we'll have to make sure this is chunk loaded, because none of this will work if it's not chunk loaded in this dimension. But for now, it's off. And then we want to start hooking that up to our ore system. But we're going to need something to filter. So we'll make a logistical transporter. And the way we're going to have this work is we'll have, say, where's the best spot to put it? I need something with lots of room. Let's just say for now we put it like this, okay? So we're going to have logistical transporters. We're going to have one route that goes into our ore processing, and then we're going to have another one that's going to go straight into our ME system. And we're actually going to use this barrel as our input, so that way we only need one input channel. And what we can do is we can connect along here, and we'll have an import thing running. If we run along and throw an import bus here and that there, that iron is going to get pulled out pretty darn fast. So it's gone. Very nice. Now what we have to do is we just have to add colors to each of these. And I mean, that's pretty much it. We can throw a logistical sorter right in this spot, and we can set up our filters. So any ore that we want to get processed by an enrichment chamber, we can add that after. So we could have like an enrichment chamber here and have it go. And in fact, maybe we'll do it. You know what? Let's do it right now. So this is going to be quite simple. We set this one to whatever color we want. So we'll do cyan, sure. And an advanced enriching factory. And we just have to add power to that. So this is getting power. Auto sort's turned on. And we're going to have it take in items from the back. We can just make this run up into this if we throw another one of these. And we'll add a filter that defaults it to the green channel. And that should be good. Ejects unfiltered items automatically using the default configuration. So we just want that. And then that'll send it to the green channel. And then everything gets output correctly. So, for example, we do want, if we look at our diamond ores, Minecraft, diamond ores, we want these to go purely to the cyan connection. No matching targets. What? Oh, I typed diamonds ores. Too many S's. Check. And that should start filtering into the enriching chamber, where they're gonna go kind of crazy. And just like that, our diamonds are processed. They're already done. And then if we add other ores underneath, we can say forge ores and send these ones to the blue and make sure that our diamond filter takes priority. It'll be higher above because diamonds fall under the forge ores, but we don't want them to go where the ores go. So we'll do that there, and we'll have that set to blue. And now if we get some ore in here, it should start processing it correctly, and we'll have to disable this to test it. But let's go to our digital miner, and we're going to delete any filters that we have and make sure it's processing all the ores correctly. So let's delete this, and we'll change it just to forge ores, and we'll start mining. It's going to get iron, and the iron's automatically going back home. So we're going to come back home and make sure it's processing it correctly. If all is good, it should just be in this already getting output. Look at that. Iron's getting made. Okay. Well, I mean, now I just have to chunk load it, and then we have automatic ore processing, and I'll have to play around and set up all the filters. But then if we connect this up to here, it'll all go into our system. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. All right. Unfortunately, that's all I have time for today. So thank you for joining me. We got a lot of cool stuff done here at the Spellcorp Industrial Complex, where we're now going to be having way more ores coming in. We have auto crafting. We're going to have new power set up. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time, the Spellcorp Industrial Complex. Bye-bye. Okay, bye. See you later. Love you. Bye. Mwah.